The more information comes out about this, the more that it looks like a total joke. Now we have Obama planning to strike Syria, something he wanted to do last year, but nobody got behind him on it. They're getting behind him on it now. We have the House of Representatives approving the plan to arm the Syrian rebels. Who are they? Supposedly, according to the McKeon document, it's properly vetted rebels. Whatever the hell that means. I don't know. They're not telling anyone. I thought it was interesting. Congressman Betty McCollum on the floor when they were debating this McKeon amendment said, the current debate on the amendment does not address the war with ISIL, but rather solely training, arming, and supporting Syrian fighters. Then she said, the CIA is already training and arming Syrian fighters in Jordan without congressional approval. How well has that worked? Yeah, how well has it worked? Obviously not that well. Because here's what we have going on. While we're having all this big debate about we got to go over to Syria and bomb people, we've got to bomb in Iraq and fight ISIS or ISIL or the Islamic State or whatever they're calling it these days, they know and have known that ISIS is operating out of Juarez. This came out in Judicial Watch back at the very end of August, and there was a high alert that they were there that had been sent down. Judicial Watch received information on that from high-level law enforcement sources that ISIS was operating in Juarez, that they were planning to imminently carry out attacks with car bombs and other vehicle-borne explosive devices. And after the story came out in Judicial Watch, Fort Bliss increased their security measures. A sheriff in Midland County, Texas, which is located halfway between Fort Worth and El Paso, also confirmed that he received this alert bulletin warning the feds that there may be an ISIS terrorist cell operating right there out of Juarez, right there. Well, now apparently sources are telling Judicial Watch that the El Paso House of Representatives member Beto O'Rourke has been contacting the FBI, Homeland Security Investigations, and Border Patrol in an effort to identify and evidently intimidate the sources that talked to Judicial Watch about this warning bulletin. According to this story, O'Rourke called the El Paso offices of the FBI, HSI, and USBP asking if anyone had been talking to them. And then apparently there was a memo that followed that came down through the chain of command threatening to terminate or criminally charge any agent who speaks to the media of any kind, which includes Judicial Watch. Now, O'Rourke is saying he didn't do this. Here he is. This is him right here. He looks like he's about to sell me a used car. But anyway, he's claiming he did not do that, but a bunch of sources are coming to Judicial Watch saying that he did do that. And I think it's just pretty psychotic when you think about the fact that we're going to go bomb Syria because of ISIS's threat to national security, the threat, right? We're going to arm Syrian rebels. We're doing all of this stuff, right? But supposedly they're operating right there out of Juarez, right there, and no one's even allowed to talk about that.
It just goes to show they're not interested in our protection. And as far as wanting to bomb Syria a year ago, it just shows you they're going to keep trying. They're going to script a new act to the play until they get what they want, which is perpetual war. And they probably want to bring it home to America. That's probably why they're not interested in protecting our border. This is ludicrous.
Do you want to know how not interested they are in protecting the border? This story was up on Oath Keepers back from September 4th about Texas border ranchers were fearing for their lives. They were asking Oath Keepers and veterans to come down and help on their property because they have all these things going on. People are getting attacked. A lot of stuff that's not being talked about in the media. But one of the things that I thought was interesting about this story is that during this interview, and you can watch it up on Oath Keepers, they say that Border Patrol is intercepting Muslim men from Somalia, Iran, Iraq, Syria, and they say that when Border Patrol takes them in, they'll disappear them. They disappear these guys somewhere, and the records disappear. And some of these guys are supposedly on the terrorist wanted list, the most wanted list, not a watch list, a wanted list.
Assets.
And when they come in across our border, because that's what they're doing, Homeland Security will intercept these guys, disappear them, disappear all the records out of computer, disappear all the paper files, and those guys are gone. Now, if Homeland Security really wanted to be, we're securing the homeland, why wouldn't they publicize the crap out of it? We caught terrorists. Why wouldn't they tell everyone?
But this is what happened on 9/11. They had guys on the watch list. Some of them were the hijackers. Some of them were people associated with them. They caught them at the border. They let them come through. They knew who they were. And they got calls from higher-ups telling them to overlook these guys. It's most likely because they're intelligence ops.
So this is what we have going on right now. We're about to strike Syria. We're approving plans to arm the rebels, whoever they are, the vetted rebels, whatever that means. And we've got used car salesman congressman, no offense, dude, but that's what you look like, basically intimidating and threatening our law enforcement officials not to talk about the impending threat that is right next door. Does this make any sense?